Welcome to Spurs Focus, your go-to spot for daily Tottenham news, transfers, and match updates. Don't forget to support the channel by hitting that subscribe button now. Let's dive into today's top story. Massive news coming out of Tottenham Hotspur today. Fabrizio Romano has officially confirmed a huge update that could change things for Spurs. This is a big one for Ange Postecoglou's side. Let's get straight into it. Thomas Frank is holding his Tottenham Hotspur press conference ahead of the Premier League match against Bournemouth. The Dane should be in high spirits after a perfect start to the Premier League season. At Tottenham, with 5 goals, 2 clean sheets, and maximum points from the opening matches against Burnley and Manchester City. Now Frank is also set to get a boost in quality and creativity to his squad with the transfer of Xavi Simons from RB Leipzig. The 22-year-old Netherlands international will fill the gap left by the injuries to James Maddison and Dejan Kulusevski. And if the deal is announced by the time the press conference begins, then Frank will speak about the former PSG starlet's arrival. Ahead of the visit of Bournemouth, the Dane will explain whether Spurs will, as expected, look to sign a winger and a centre-back as well in the remainder of the transfer window before Monday's deadline. The Tottenham boss will also deliver an update on the latest injuries within the squad, with Destiny Udogie previously back in training, and news on any fresh knocks or problems in the team. Our Spurs correspondent Alasdair Gold is among those putting the questions to Frank ahead of the latest Premier League game. Scroll down for his latest updates from the press conference at Hotspur Way. You've got every word Thomas Frank said when asked about Xavi Simons, more transfers, the latest injury news, Jed Spence's England call-up, when Radu Dragusin will be back, and plenty more, which you can find by going right here or scroll down for some highlights. Thomas Frank has provided an update on Destiny Udogie's fitness and confirmed that one Spurs ace will miss out against Bournemouth this weekend. Tottenham Hotspur are closing in on a transfer for RB Leipzig's Xavi Simons, and the player could be given the perfect welcome gift once his move to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium's complete. A new arrival brings excitement to fans, with one of the questions as to what shirt number that the new man may wear. The departure of Son Heung-min earlier this summer gives Spurs the perfect answer for Simons. While the 22-year-old currently wears the number 10 with Leipzig, during his time with PSV Eindhoven, he wore the number 7. Son's departure has left that number free to take. Simons currently wears the number 10 with Leipzig, but that is the number currently worn by James Maddison at Tottenham. As well as wearing it for PSV, the number 7 is also the number worn by Simons during international duty with the Netherlands over the past 3 years. Replicating his international number with his club should therefore appeal to the player. If you want to know what the arrival of Xavi Simons will mean for Spurs' homegrown tech foreign players' issues and their Champions League squad, you can head right here to find out. We've been told that the press conference will now take place at 2:30 p.m. Hopefully that's because Frank can't speak about non-Tottenham players and perhaps a certain someone is being announced. That's just our wild speculation though. Tottenham fans have reason to cheer. Destiny Udogie is finally back. After missing all of pre-season and the first 3 games through injury, Thomas Frank has confirmed the 22-year-old left-back will be in the squad for Saturday's Premier League clash with Bournemouth. While Yves Bissouma remains sidelined, there's also positive news on Radu Dragusin's recovery. Thomas Frank has confirmed that Destiny Udogie is back in the Tottenham squad for Saturday's home match against Bournemouth. The left-back has failed to feature for Tottenham since their opening pre-season friendly at Reading due to a knee injury. Udogie picked up the issue in the warm-up ahead of the friendly at Luton Town in late July and subsequently missed the pre-season tour of Asia, and also Tottenham's first 3 competitive games of the new campaign. Frank did provide a positive update on the player ahead of last weekend's win at Manchester City, but the game just came too soon for the 22-year-old to return. Speaking ahead of this weekend's Premier League encounter against Bournemouth, Frank gave a fresh update on his left-back. Yes, he could feature. He's in the squad, and that's very positive for us, admitted the Dane. One player who won't be fit to be included in the squad is Yves Bissouma, but there is some good news when it comes to Radu Dragusin. making his return from a long-term ACL issue. I think with Bissouma, one thing for sure, he's out for the next game, and then the specific timeline I'm a little bit in doubt of because I don't think it'll be that long, said Frank. Dragusin is on the way back and he's been running for a while. I think he should join the team in a week's time. 10 days' time. I think that's the thing, so that's positive. But of course it is an ACL. I'm always a little bit more. Not worried, but just aware that it takes time. When you've been out of football for 9 months, you need to get in. It's not enough to have a 6-week pre-season. You need to take a little bit more time, but it's positive and some surprise. And come back quicker, of course. Tottenham Hotspur have reportedly agreed a deal to sign RB Leipzig midfielder Xavi Simons. Chelsea have been at the forefront of the chase for Simons throughout the summer, with Stamford Bridge being the Dutch international's preferred choice. However, with no transfer deal in place, Spurs have now entered the competition for his signature. After missing out on Morgan Gibbs-White and Eberechi Eze, Spurs have seemingly shifted their focus to Simons. The attacking midfielder has been given permission to leave Leipzig's training base and travel to England for discussions with Premier League clubs to settle his future ahead of Monday's transfer deadline. Since his appointment in June, Spurs head coach Thomas Frank has been searching for a new number 10, with injuries to James Maddison and Dejan Kulusevski, making a signing increasingly urgent. And journalist Fabrizio Romano, who specialises in transfers, has claimed that Spurs have agreed a €60 million, 51 million deal for Simons. Exclusive. Tottenham agree €60 million fee with RB Leipzig for Xavi Simons. Official bid accepted. Green light after Tottenham. Hotspur sent formal bid following players' encouragement, he said on X, Twitter. Spurs want deal done today also on player side medical in the next hours. Here we go. Expected soon. Simons racked up 11 goals and 8 assists in 33 appearances last season for Leipzig, despite missing 2 months in the middle of the season with an ankle injury. When he returned to the side, he registered 14 goal involvements in 18 games in the Bundesliga. Tottenham have a good relationship with the German club, and Simons ticks plenty of boxes for Frank, in that he can play as a number 10 and also on the left wing. Thomas Frank will be eyeing up a third successive Premier League win when Tottenham return to action on Saturday. Fresh from beating Burnley and Manchester City in their opening 2 fixtures, Spurs take on Bournemouth in N17 this weekend. A point against the Cherries would be enough to take the Lilywhites to the summit of the Premier League table, as Arsenal and Liverpool, who also both have a 100% record this season, take on each other at Anfield on Sunday afternoon. Frank will be targeting all 3 points though, as his team look to carry on their impressive start to the campaign. Unfortunately, it is Tottenham's last game before domestic action goes on pause for the first international break of the season. So could Frank switch things up in regards to his Spurs team this weekend? Our Football.London writers have made their team selections below. Frank has continually surprised us so far, with little tweaks and changes in personnel. And we all expected him to play a certain way at Manchester City with a back 5, and instead he went with a back 4, as his team nailed the game plan perfectly at the Etihad Stadium. With that in mind, you could suggest that he might bring in Wilson Odobert to add something different, or Lucas Bergvall in the number 10 role, but then how do you justify dropping Pape Matar Sarr, who was brilliant against City, or Brennan Johnson, who has scored in back-to-back games? There could be a temptation to give Dominic Solanke his first start of the season up front, but Richarlison has been excellent so far this season. Destiny Udogie has also been back in training for a week now, but Jed Spence has done more than enough to keep his place at left-back. The games will come thick and fast after the international break, and everyone will be getting minutes and chances to impress. So for this weekend, Frank can go with an unchanged winning lineup. Gold's team: Vicario, Porro, Romero, Van de Ven, Spence, Palinha, Bentancur, Kudus, Sarr, Johnson, Richarlison. There's no reason for Thomas Frank to change his Tottenham team that beat Manchester City last weekend, as they've had a full week to prepare for the Bournemouth match. However, the Dane may still choose to alternate in a couple of positions. Destiny Udogie could be back in the squad this weekend, but it will come too soon for him to start. That means Jed Spence continues at left back, and Udogie may get an opportunity to get minutes in the tank towards the end of the encounter. Dominic Solanke will have to contend with a place on the bench once again, due to Richarlison's excellent form. The Brazilian will continue to lead the line and have support from Mohamed Kudus, Pape Matar Sarr and Brennan Johnson behind him. Guests team: Vicario, Porro, Romero, Van de Ven, Spence, Palhinha Bentancur, Kudus, Sarr, Johnson, Richarlison.